The world is about to be rocked as 50 Cent with a quiet smirk casually reveals the shocking truth. For decades, Diddy has carefully controlled the narrative surrounding his life, but now 50 Cent is ready to expose it all. Picture this: 140 hours of raw, uncut footage deemed too explosive for Netflix. What if everything you thought you knew about Diddy is a lie? What if the real story, the one they tried to suppress, has been hidden in plain sight all along? This isn't just a documentary. This is the truth that the networks, the corporate powers, and Diddy himself didn't want you to see. 50 Cent is ready to unleash it all, unfiltered, unedited, and with no corporate agenda holding him back. The world holds its breath as 50 Cent, seated comfortably on Sherri Shepherd's couch, casually drops a revelation that shatters the carefully curated facade surrounding the highly anticipated Diddy documentary. The room falls silent as the weight of his words sinks in. With a deliberate smirk that dances between confidence and mischief, 50 Cent leans forward and makes a bombshell announcement that changes everything. He's sitting on 140 hours of raw, unreleased footage, a treasure trove of material that Netflix deemed too explosive to air. This isn't just ordinary footage, it's too controversial, too powerful, and far too dangerous for corporate networks to handle. It's the kind of content that could tear apart the carefully constructed public narrative about one of the most influential figures in the entertainment world. For Netflix, the decision was simple: they couldn't risk airing this content. It was too raw, too unfiltered. But just when it seemed like the truth would remain locked away, the unimaginable happens. Leaked clips begin to surface online, offering the world a forbidden glimpse into the material that was banned from the official documentary. What the public sees is nothing short of devastating. The footage reveals behind-the-scenes moments, private conversations, and shocking revelations that had been hidden for years, moments deemed too dangerous for the polished, corporate-approved version that Netflix chose to release. These clips show a side of Diddy and the documentary's narrative that the public was never meant to witness. They threaten to unravel not just the story in the documentary, but the entire public image of one of the most powerful figures in the entertainment industry. This wasn't just an accidental leak. It was a deliberate exposure of the very material that Netflix had fought to keep behind closed doors. Explosive doesn't even begin to cover it. These leaked clips aren't just a glimpse into the documentary's outtakes. They're a raw, uncut version of the story, a version that reveals the ugly truth that had been carefully concealed. What Netflix deemed too controversial to air now finds its way into the hands of the public, unfiltered and unforgiving. And what it shows is a side of Diddy and the story surrounding him that was carefully guarded, sealed away in vaults by those in power. As the clips spread like wildfire across social media, the world starts to realize that the documentary wasn't just about telling a story, it was about controlling the narrative. And now, with 140 hours of untapped footage sitting on the sidelines, 50 Cent holds the ultimate card. This isn't just another documentary, it's the unfiltered truth ready to explode. The implications of this footage are staggering. The world's most powerful entertainment figures, those who thought they controlled the story, now face a reckoning, one that 50 Cent is ready to deliver. With the power of social media, the power of YouTube, and the power of unlimited access, 50 Cent is on the verge of exposing a truth the world wasn't prepared for. The moment is nothing short of electric. The air seems to crackle with tension as 50 Cent, seated with a casual yet calculating demeanor on Sherri Shepherd's couch, hints at the seismic bombshell he's about to drop. With a smirk that dances between mischief and sincerity, 50 casually mentions the possibility of releasing the entire vault of footage from the controversial Diddy documentary straight onto YouTube, completely bypassing the heavily regulated constraints of corporate networks like Netflix. This isn't just a fleeting idea or an idle threat, it's a promise. A promise to the public that the raw, uncut footage Netflix deemed too explosive will finally see the light of day. The footage that they didn't want you to see, the content they hoped would remain buried forever, will be unleashed into the public sphere, no longer under the control of corporate gatekeepers. What was once locked away in vaults, too dangerous to release, is now in the hands of the very person who holds the keys. And then, just as the weight of his words begins to sink in, the world holds its collective breath. December 10, 2025. The date is marked not just as a turning point in 50 Cent's career, but as a monumental moment in the history of entertainment. 50 Cent is perched on Sherri Shepherd's couch, calm, collected, and relaxed. But beneath his cool exterior, there's a fire that can no longer be contained. Just a few months prior, his latest project, Stranger Things, had become a global phenomenon, dominating Netflix in a way that few could have predicted. The accolades flood in from all corners of the industry, with the praise and recognition coming thick and fast. Sherri, ever the curious and perceptive host, casually asks the question everyone is dying to know: will there be a season 2? Without missing a beat, 50 delivers his response, a mix of humor, confidence, and something far more dangerous beneath the surface. I'll just put it on YouTube. It's a simple answer, but the way he delivers it with that trademark smirk lets the world know that he's not joking, he's dead serious. There's no hesitating, no second guessing. The calm demeanor is the calm before the storm. 50 Cent, a man who has always been able to read the room and manipulate the media like no one else, is setting the stage for something far bigger than just a documentary. He's about to flip the script on how stories are told. And with that one line, he lets everyone know that he holds the power to reshape the narrative in a way that no one saw coming. This isn't just about entertainment anymore. This is a reckoning. The rules have changed. For Netflix, the documentary was always going to be a controlled, sanitized version of events, a story wrapped up neatly in a bow, one that was palatable for mainstream audiences. 4 episodes, tightly curated, heavily edited, and approved by corporate teams. A highly polished, corporate-friendly tale of events that would paint the picture in the light they deemed appropriate. It was a safe, controlled version of the truth, one that would never ruffle too many feathers or threaten to upend the carefully constructed public image of one of the most powerful men in entertainment. But what the public didn't know was that Netflix was only scratching the surface. Beneath the shiny veneer of those 4 episodes was a much darker, much more explosive narrative waiting to be told. 50 Cent and his documentary team were sitting on a mountain of footage, 140 hours of raw, unfiltered material, footage so dangerous, so filled with untold truths that it was deemed far too hot to handle for the mainstream networks. This wasn't just a collection of outtakes or extra content that didn't make the final cut. It was a treasure trove of untold stories, the kind of footage that could destroy everything if it were ever to see the light of day. It was the truth, uncut, unsanitized, untouched by the hands of corporate censors. And now with the world watching, 50 Cent is prepared to set it all free. This wasn't just about revealing behind-the-scenes moments or extra interviews. It was about exposing the raw, real story that Netflix didn't want anyone to know. Raw truth, unfiltered and unedited, was just waiting to be shown to the world, and 50 Cent was the only one who had the power to do it. No longer would the narrative be dictated by networks or corporate overlords who decided what the public was allowed to see. This was about giving the people what they deserved, the unvarnished truth, free from censorship and corporate interests. The clock is ticking. December 10, 2025 will forever be remembered as the moment 50 Cent made it clear that the rules of the game had changed. No more carefully constructed narratives, no more corporate guidelines, no more approved content. The truth was about to be unleashed, and there was nothing anyone could do to stop it. What Netflix couldn't air, what corporate lawyers wouldn't approve, was about to find its way into the hands of the people. 140 hours of unedited footage, full of secrets, revelations, and details that would send shockwaves through the entertainment world. This was the real story, the one that 50 Cent had always known was there, waiting to be told. Now the entire world would see it, and where would it go? YouTube, the platform that had long been the last bastion of freedom in the world of media. No corporate overlords, no legal teams sanitizing the content, no editorial control over what was allowed to be shared. This was 50 Cent's moment to shine, to take full control of the narrative and show the world what Netflix had tried to hide. The footage would be released on his terms, no restrictions, no censorship, no one telling him what he could and couldn't say. As 50 Cent sits there letting the words hang in the air, the significance of his statement is clear. This is not just a documentary, this is a declaration of freedom. The truth, once buried beneath corporate agendas and network constraints, is about to be set free for all to see. And when the dust settles, it will be clear that 50 Cent wasn't just a storyteller. He was a game changer, a force to be reckoned with in an industry that had controlled what the public was allowed to know. Everything couldn't make it, 50 Cent explained during his candid appearance on Sherri Shepherd's show. His voice, calm yet full of intent, dropped a bombshell that sent waves through the entertainment world. It was only 4 episodes, and with so much material, you had to pick and choose what made the cut. But what 50 didn't say, what the cameras didn't quite catch in the moment, was the true weight of his statement. The editing room wasn't just the place where they sliced and diced content. It was the goldmine, a hidden treasure trove of discarded footage. 140 hours of untouched, uncut material, footage so raw, so filled with truth that it was too sensitive, too dangerous, and too volatile for mainstream networks like Netflix to dare air it. They didn't just cut out a few behind-the-scenes moments or interviews. They shut down an entire narrative that threatened to expose everything. And then, as if by fate, the confirmation came directly from 50 Cent's Instagram, a direct response to fans who had been theorizing about the unreleased material. 50, without hesitation, dropped the truth. Correct, there's 140 hours of footage. That wasn't just a random comment, it was a declaration. The footage still exists. It's sitting somewhere, waiting to be released. And just as importantly, it's sitting in 50 Cent's hands, the man who has long since made a career out of control, power, and shifting narratives. If anyone was going to set this footage free, it was going to be him. And judging by his track record, when 50 Cent says something is ready to drop, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I don't understand why he filmed himself, 50 remarked, reflecting on Diddy's self-documentation throughout his career. His tone was almost one of confusion, yet there was a sense of begrudging respect in his words. But I'm glad he did. The weight of that statement is heavy, almost chilling in its simplicity, because that footage, all of it, holds truths, explosive truths that don't need the stamp of approval from Netflix's gatekeepers or from any corporate entity's legal department. This footage doesn't need to be sanitized or edited for content. The rawness of it is its power, no filters, no corporate agenda, no hands pulling the strings behind the scenes. This is real, this is authentic, and above all, this is uncontrollable. YouTube, the platform that has long been a space for the uncensored, unfiltered, and unregulated, becomes the ultimate outlet for these truths to be told. With YouTube, there are no filters, no censorship, no corporate interest that needs to be satisfied. It's just raw reality, delivered directly to the world. And when 50 says the people supporting him will be very quiet when more comes out, it's not an idle threat, it's a warning. The way he speaks it, there's a sense of quiet ominousness to his words. This isn't a casual remark, it's a promise. The world and everyone who's been keeping secrets will be forced to confront what has been hidden for far too long. One of the most revealing moments came during the Sherry interview, when 50 casually dropped a detail that had been completely overlooked in the Netflix cut. It was a chilling piece of personal history that Netflix had chosen to ignore, choosing instead to sanitize and neutralize a story that was far too complicated, far too dangerous to expose. 50 spoke of a relationship Diddy had with a woman named Sarah Chapman, the mother of Chance Combs, born in 2006. On the surface, that might not seem like anything extraordinary, but the hidden layer of this story is in the past, a past that Diddy doesn't want the world to know about. Sarah Chapman had once been romantically involved with the legendary Tupac Shakur back in 1995, and for 50 Cent this was more than just an isolated detail. It was part of a disturbing pattern he had noticed in Diddy's life, a troubling habit of pursuing relationships with the exes of his dead rivals. For 50, this wasn't just about personal conquest. It was a form of symbolic revenge, a way for Diddy to claim victory over men who had been taken from him by death itself. It was as though Diddy was marking his territory, ensuring that the legacy of his rivals lived on through his own conquests, even after their deaths. And this wasn't just about one relationship. This was a pattern, one that 50 Cent had been watching unfold piece by piece over the years. It's a chilling thought. Diddy wasn't just trying to build his empire. He was turning the remnants of his past conflicts into symbols of power. Relationships with the exes of dead rivals became more than just affairs. They became personal triumphs over the graves of those who could never fight back. But the truth is, this footage, this explosive material, could have told the entire world what 50 Cent saw long ago. Netflix chose to cut it out, carefully sanitizing the story to make it more palatable for a mainstream audience. They could never air the truth because the implications were too profound, too dangerous for their network to handle. But with YouTube, 50 Cent has no such constraints. No network to answer to, no legal team sanitizing the narrative, no corporate interests telling him what he can and can't show. With YouTube, 50 Cent is free to release every frame, and what was once hidden will now be shown to the world in all its rawness. What makes it all the more shocking is that this relationship with Sarah Chapman is just one piece of the puzzle, a puzzle that until now had been carefully hidden by those in power. But there's so much more to this story, more footage that will reveal the entire truth about Diddy's life, his business, and his past. And 50 Cent, with his vault of 140 hours of unedited material, is the one holding the keys. When the world finally gets to see everything, it will not just be a revelation, it will be a complete reckoning. There will be no more hiding, no more carefully crafted narratives, just the truth, unfiltered, untamed, and ready to be unleashed on the world. Yet, despite all the carefully constructed edits and omissions, the footage still exists, waiting to be shown to the world. Netflix made the decision to hold back, keeping some of the most explosive content from public view. But now with YouTube, 50 Cent has the freedom to expose these connections without hesitation. On YouTube, there are no corporate restraints, no legal teams reviewing every frame, no need to sanitize the material to fit a carefully curated narrative. This is where raw truth can finally emerge, the truth that Netflix, in its attempt to control the narrative, deemed too sensitive to air. With 50 Cent in control, the world will be shown the unedited, unfiltered version of events that have long been buried in the shadows. One of the most tragic and mysterious pieces of this puzzle is the death of Kim Porter in 2018. She was not only Diddy's longtime partner, but also the mother of 3 of his children. Her untimely passing at the young age of just 47 sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, sparking a myriad of conspiracy theories and speculation about the circumstances surrounding her death. Yet in Netflix's final cut of the documentary, her death was utterly ignored. The theories surrounding her passing, the questions that have haunted her family and fans, were deemed too sensitive and too controversial for public consumption. Diddy's children themselves publicly rejected the conspiracy theories about their mother's death, and Netflix, out of respect for their wishes, chose to avoid this thorny issue altogether. But that doesn't erase the lingering questions, the unanswered elements that still remain, and 50 Cent, with his vast vault of footage, could very well have the answers. He holds the key to unlocking the secrets that have been kept hidden from the public for far too long. The footage that Netflix chose not to air could provide the missing pieces to the puzzle surrounding Kim Porter's death, and on YouTube, nothing is off limits. 50 Cent has the power to expose the truth in ways that no one else has been able to do. Then there is the Kid Cudi firebombing allegation that exploded into the headlines during the 2025 trial, a story that Netflix only touched on lightly. The claim that Diddy allegedly orchestrated an attack on Kid Cudi's Porsche after a heated dispute involving Cassie. Trial testimonies revealed details about a Molotov cocktail, the failed ignition, and the forensic evidence that pointed to Diddy's involvement. Yet Netflix chose to minimize the importance of this shocking story. Their decision was based on a lack of definitive proof and the potential legal complications that could arise from airing such volatile material. But 50 Cent has access to the full scope of the witness testimonies, the footage, the documentation, the pieces of evidence that were never included in Netflix's final cut. The public never got to see the full story, but on YouTube, 50 Cent has the platform and the freedom to release this material without fear of censorship. For him, there are no corporate giants telling him what to show and what to hold back. Nothing is off limits, and the truth will be laid bare for everyone to see, free from the constraints of corporate interests. And let's not forget the 50 Cent versus Diddy feud, which has stretched across nearly 20 years of public tension. Yet Netflix, the very platform telling the story of Diddy's life, made the decision to completely ignore their infamous rivalry. Not a single mention of the tension between them. This, for 50, was a conscious choice. He wanted to keep the focus on Diddy's alleged crimes rather than their personal history. He knew that introducing their long-running feud could undermine the integrity of the documentary, turning it into something that would look like a personal vendetta rather than a serious investigation into Diddy's actions. Netflix demanded objectivity, a presentation free of personal bias. They needed the documentary to appear neutral and professional. But on YouTube, 50 Cent faces no such pressure. There are no external forces telling him to stay objective or neutral. With YouTube, 50 has complete creative control over the narrative. He can finally dive deep into the personal history between him and Diddy, explore why this project has been so relentlessly pursued for years. The truth behind their bitter feud, the motivations that led 50 to chase this documentary, can now come to light without any filter or restraint. This story isn't just about Diddy's alleged crimes, it's about 50 Cent's unwavering drive to expose the truth, to reveal the layers of personal and professional conflict that have played a crucial role in the events we now see unfolding. In a world where corporate giants like Netflix control the flow of information, YouTube becomes the ultimate battleground for freedom. 50 Cent isn't bound by network restrictions or corporate agendas. He has complete control over what gets released and when. The stakes are higher than ever, and the world is about to witness the unfiltered truth. What Netflix chose to edit, what they deemed too sensitive to air, will now be unleashed for the world to see. The question is no longer if the footage will come out, it's when and how much damage it will do when it does. For 20 years, I've been uncomfortable with him suggesting he takes me shopping, 50 Cent confessed in a powerful interview. That statement, seemingly casual, held a weight that went beyond the surface. The sting of betrayal in those words is something far more personal than anyone could have ever realized. It wasn't just about a fleeting moment of tension. It was about something deeply rooted in 50 Cent's psyche, an injustice that had haunted him for decades. The emotional burden of that moment, the underlying sense of disrespect, fueled his relentless pursuit of truth. For 50, this isn't just a story of power and fame. It's about confronting the personal betrayal that ignited a fire within him. This drive to expose what's been hidden is tied to a raw and real sense of justice, one that continues to drive him to this day. The documentary briefly touched on one of the most controversial moments in music history, the Tupac murder, but it barely scratched the surface. The film acknowledged Keith D's confession and the involvement of Eric Von Zip, but it stopped just short of fully exploring the alleged conspiracy that might link Diddy to Tupac's death. The truth, however, is far more complicated. Additional footage exists, footage that could shine a much brighter light on Diddy's possible involvement in the events of that tragic night. Witness testimonies that were left on the cutting room floor, financial documents, and other pieces of the puzzle were all ignored by Netflix due to time constraints and legal limitations. Yet this isn't the end of the story. 50 Cent's vault holds the key to a deeper dive into the true scope of the conspiracy, revealing the full, uncensored truth. YouTube becomes the ultimate platform to show what Netflix was too cautious to reveal, a chance to unmask the full narrative, without editorial restraint or corporate caution. Netflix's editorial decisions were made with the best interests of legal liability and journalistic integrity in mind. They carefully curated a version of the story that fit within the bounds of what was acceptable for mainstream audiences. But 50 Cent's 140 hours of footage are far too hot for corporate comfort. They contain the truth, raw, uncut, and unfiltered, and it's ready to be unleashed. The corporate world can no longer keep these revelations hidden. The footage, now under 50's control, is poised to reveal the full story in all its gritty, unapologetic detail. One of the most iconic and mysterious parts of Diddy's legacy is the story of the White Parties, the extravagant gatherings hosted by him between 1998 and 2009, attended by the rich and famous, including celebrities like Justin Bieber and Leonardo DiCaprio. These parties were described as over-the-top legendary events, all-white dress codes, stilt walkers, and pool swings that created an almost surreal atmosphere. But what really happened behind those closed doors? What happened when the cameras weren't rolling and the celebrities weren't posing for their Instagram shots? There's footage, untold footage sitting in the vault, footage that could expose what Netflix chose to ignore. What did Netflix hide from us? And more importantly, why? The full truth of these parties, what went down in the shadows, could shift how we view Diddy and his carefully cultivated image forever. Then there's Cassie's testimony in the 2025 trial, a devastating account that revealed painful, emotional details of the abuse and coercion she allegedly endured during her years with Diddy. The testimony was too raw, too fresh, and too legally tangled for Netflix to touch. It was a story that, if told in full, would shatter the image that many people have of Diddy, exposing a side of him that has remained hidden for so long. But now, with trial transcripts available as public record, YouTube offers the perfect platform to discuss these events openly, without fear of censorship or corporate control. The full scope of Cassie's emotional testimony, the lasting toll it took on her, and the truth behind the doors that have remained closed for so long, has the potential to come to light in a way that Netflix never allowed. 50 Cent is standing at the edge of something huge. What was once held back by corporate interests, by legal teams afraid of the consequences, is now in his hands, and it's ready to be exposed. With YouTube, there are no limits, no more carefully crafted narratives, no more sanitized, corporate-friendly versions of events. This is about truth, about exposing what was hidden, and about revealing the untold stories that have been kept behind closed doors for far too long. The world will finally get to see what has been kept from them for decades, and when that happens, there's no going back. 50 Cent holds the key, and he's about to unlock a truth so explosive that it will change everything we thought we knew about Diddy, the music industry, and the stories that have been shaped for years. With Diddy's legal team sending cease and desist letters and threatening massive legal action, it's clear that the footage at the heart of this battle is nothing short of explosive. The very fact that his team is scrambling to prevent its release speaks volumes. This isn't just about privacy or reputation, this is about something much bigger. Yet despite their best efforts to suppress the truth, Netflix stood firm. Their legal team painstakingly cleared every single frame of footage, ensuring that everything was legally sound before it was ever shown to the public. Now that very footage has been released and the world is watching. The story that Diddy tried to control for so long, a meticulously self-documented tale of his life, every conversation, every decision, every moment of desperation has now been laid bare for everyone to see. The facade has crumbled. What was once hidden in the shadows is now being exposed piece by piece for the world to witness. But the story doesn't end with Netflix. By December 11, 2025, 50 Cent is set to release his own version of the documentary, a version that will be untethered by the constraints of corporate oversight, editorial guidelines, or network-approved narratives. This time it's personal. 50 Cent won't be confined by the restrictions that networks like Netflix impose on storytelling. The stakes have never been higher. Armed with 140 hours of unused footage, with no content guidelines to follow, and with the freedom to release whatever he chooses, 50 Cent is poised to blow the lid off Diddy's carefully constructed legacy. Everything that Diddy's team has tried to suppress, every attempt to shape a perfect image, is about to be shattered. The truth, raw and unfiltered, will be released to the world with no one to stop it. YouTube becomes the ultimate battleground, a platform unlike anything mainstream networks can offer. It's a place with no filters, no corporate gatekeepers, and no one telling 50 Cent what he can or can't show. The truth, once hidden by corporate interests, is finally free to roam. The footage that was kept under lock and key, the footage that Diddy's team tried to bury, will be available forever. It will be uncut, unedited, and most importantly, unchallenged. The global audience that has waited for years to see the truth will finally get its moment. No more secrets, no more carefully sanitized versions of history that paint a portrait of Diddy as a flawless mogul. The world is about to witness the raw truth, the truth that was never meant to be seen. Diddy's legal threats are nothing but empty noise at this point. They can shout from the rooftops, demand takedowns, and issue as many threats as they want, but the truth is already out there and there's no turning back. The digital age has made it impossible to hide anything forever. Once something goes viral, once it's out in the world, there's no way to erase it. 50 Cent knows this better than anyone, and he's ready to deliver the truth to the world, no matter the cost. The stakes are personal for him. The world has long been fed a narrative that Diddy and his team have crafted. But now, with YouTube as his stage, 50 Cent is prepared to expose it all, to tear down the myth that has been built around Diddy. No matter the consequences, no matter the legal fallout, no matter how powerful the people trying to stop him are, 50 Cent is ready to deliver the truth. And when it drops, it will be a game changer. The world will never look at Diddy or his empire the same way again. Now, hear us where you come in. Hit that subscribe button and make sure to turn on notifications. You're not going to want to miss what happens next. This is just the beginning, and it's about to get intense. Like this video if you're ready for the uncut truth, and leave a comment below letting us know what you think is going to be exposed first. Don't wait, be the first to know. Subscribe now to stay on top of the biggest documentary release the world has ever seen. The story that Diddy tried to hide is about to be told, and you're part of the journey. 50 Cent said it best. They thought they could bury the truth, but I'm here to make sure you see it, unfiltered, untamed, no limits. When everything has been stripped away, there's only one thing left, the truth. Stay tuned. This isn't just a documentary, it's a reckoning.